Everyone. Welcome to your local agent podcast, episode 3. I'm your host Justin Venegas, or JV for short, and today I'm accompanied by
Miss Regina Castro Morales.
great. Regina, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do and where are you calling from?
So I'm a realtor, and I'm in Southern California, um, specifically in Fontana, California, which is about 30 miles east of LA.
Awesome. And what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate, and how did you get started in the industry?
So I was always watching, well, it's cliche, I was always watching those HGTV shows, right? And you're like, man, that looks fun, right? Like, oh, I want to do that. Um, but I didn't really, it took me a while to even finish college because I didn't really know what direction I wanted to take. And then I had my second child, and then I was working at a school, and then COVID happened and the schools shut down. So that was the end of work. But before COVID happened, right before then, I had decided to start taking my courses for real estate because it's always something of interest to me. And I was like, let me start taking my courses. Let me see what it's about. And so COVID happens, and then I'm like, okay, I have to focus 100% on this. So during the whole quarantine and stuff, I was doing my courses online. And then yeah, and then I got my license. I took the exam. I got it. I passed the first time, and I've
Awesome.
been doing
Okay.
real estate 100% since then.
Oh, first time? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they say it's hard. I mean, it was hard, it really was. Some people say
Yeah.
it's easy, some people say it's hard. You get mixed, reviews. I guess it depends what state you take it in.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it felt like it was a little hard. It was a little bit of a blur. I didn't walk out of there confident at all. I didn't know. I was like, oh man, well, at least I know what to expect. I was like already talking myself down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I opened the thing that I passed, I was like blown away because I was like, wow. Ask me what was on the exam, and I have no idea. I'm like, it's literally a blur.
Would you compare it to taking like a DMV test where like you go in and take the test and you hopefully pass or no?
I mean, yeah, to like a higher level. I mean,
Okay.
there's so much material that you go through, and a lot of tech like legalities, and it's like, and you even get to pick which focus you want to do on one of the modules.
Mm-hmm.
um when you take the exam, you're like, man, like I don't remember any of this, but it just becomes like understanding concepts, and if you're able to apply them, then it's easier as opposed to just trying to memorize questions. So I mean, I think it's really just trying to apply concepts, and then the questions really take that into account. But yeah, I mean, kind of like the DMV. I mean, I guess it would equate to a 16-year-old trying to go take an exam, how nervous they'd be. But yeah,
Yeah.
there is definitely a lot of nerves walking in there because they're super like, put your phone over there, and they're like patting you down, like it's real intense.
It's
So
it's really intense.
yeah, for
So
sure.
um you might have answered this already, but is there any personal interest or hobby that you feel that influences your work as a realtor?
um yes and no. Yes, because to be a realtor, you have to be somewhat social because you have to be out there, trying to be in contact with people. So I think I'm already a little social as it is. I like to meet new people. It does push you outside of your comfort zone a little bit because um you're looking at everything as an opportunity to, oh, maybe this person has potential. But I think just those qualities, if you're already an extrovert or social, it should be a little easier for you. um if you're not, then you're gonna, you're gonna have to figure out how to be that um sooner rather than later,
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about talking to people and building that trust. So it kind of it I already have those things in me. Like, um i'm I like to be around people for the most part, so those qualities definitely transcend into real estate, in that regard, just because you
You
have to
have to be
network.
social. You have to be social. You
Yep.
gotta network. It's really important. Yeah.
Right.
Majority of new realtors are scared to actually socialize, which causes them to fail. Do you agree with that or
I mean,
or
there's
no?
so many things in real estate. I mean, you just gotta pick something, right? So when I first started, it was literally didn't have no prior background, didn't really understand all the complexities of the industry. So I was definitely feeling like I was trying to do a little bit of everything and not really focusing on one thing. If you do that, you're definitely gonna overwhelm yourself. You're definitely gonna feel like um this isn't working
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to do a little bit of everything. You gotta kind of hone in on your strengths, what you think you're good at, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of go 100 on that, as opposed to trying to like tackle something like, like cold calling, for example. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like doing that. I do it every once in a while, but it's usually not a go for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
you
sucks.
have to get creative, right? You have to get creative. I'm like, well, how else can I get in front of people, right? Um, I would you like some stranger calling you randomly asking you to sell your house,
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely not received in
No.
the best way. But if you're out in the social environment and it's just conversation, eventually someone's going to ask you, so what do you do? And then it's a
Mm-hmm.
perfect opportunity to bring that up. And then it's more organic as opposed to just, hey, how are you? Do you want to sell your house?
Yeah,
So you
it's
definitely have to pick what is your strength and stick with that and kind of just do that consistently. And then you'll eventually see results.
yeah. Just out of curiosity, now that you mentioned cold calling, have you ever
Yeah.
like hopped on a call and then they like you try to pitch yourself and then they just started cursing you out? Has that ever happened to you? Like,
No, not necessarily curse
no?
me out. More of like, well, I try to be like, I don't want to steal too much of your time. That start with just kind of warm them up.
Uh-huh.
It's usually I haven't gotten cussed out yet because I don't persist, right? So if somebody's already like wall, I'm not gonna
Uh,
press that further. And I feel like that's when you're gonna get cussed out. If somebody's telling you I'm not interested and you're like continuously like persisting, persisting,
yeah.
persistent, you're opening up to get cussed out.
Yeah.
But it's usually just been pretty rude, like, oh, no, not interested, or stop calling me, or and then it just kind of like, okay, well, I
Uh,
tried. Yeah.
that's it for me. That's it for me. No
Yeah,
more.
that's where I stop. Like, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna keep going because I'm pretty sensitive. So if I got cussed out, I'd probably cry or something.
Yeah. If I probably got cursed, I would have started cold calling then and there. I don't know. Just I'm too
Right.
sensitive to
Well,
it.
that's what I'm saying. It's really like I think it just depends on who you get. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some people will entertain you and talk to you and then and then it's fine, like it's like, well, not interested right now, and then you just kind of leave it. Well, let me give you my information if that ever changes. And then
Mm-hmm.
you leave it at that. Like I said, some other people, they probably, they're getting called left and right, left and right. So I
Mm-hmm.
can you put yourself in in their shoes, in their perspective, and you're like, man, yeah, I'd be pretty irritated too. So you kind of learn not to take it personal. It's like you're doing your job, you're trying. If something comes from it, great. But I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself up over it because I can see where they're coming from. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to let them know, like, I got you. You don't want to be bothered. Just if I could be of service to you. But if not, that's totally okay. Here's my information if that ever changes. And you leave it at that.
Okay, so you hear that, agency owners? You guys watching my videos? Don't quit after getting cursed at a cold call.
Yeah, no, definitely don't
Don't
quit.
quit after, because it's part of a job of a marketer to actually like try to reach out to get potential clients, but
Right.
then they start complaining that oh, I'm getting cursed at. I just don't feel like
It's
it.
part of it. It's part
It's
of
not
it.
for me. It's like,
Hmm.
come on, it happens once in a while, but people don't understand that.
Yeah, it's
But
part of
again,
it.
don't be annoying. Don't be annoying.
Yeah, don't be annoying. Definitely don't be annoying and don't like, keep going. Don't beat a dead horse. If they've already told you it's a no, just you kind of have to kill them with kindness, right? Then
Exactly.
they let them feel bad about the way they reacted to you, and all you're doing was being nice to them.
So other than being social, is it like other important qualities to have as a new real estate agent, or realtor in general, to
Um,
become successful?
I would say you have to have a little bit of humility, because you don't know everything.
Yeah.
You're coming in new. Well, I would assume you come in. I don't think anybody just gets their license and has experience, like I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're new at one point and you don't know everything. So have a little bit of humility and have I think something that lacks that I've noticed is that even agent to agent interaction is kind of like sometimes it's like we're all trying to work together, we're all trying to get to the same objectives, to the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um we should have a little more customer service even with each other, or like just have that communication of, like I said, we're both, you have a house that you want to sell, I have a buyer that wants to buy that house, let's work together.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I feel like some agents are kind of rude, or
Oh
just,
yeah.
I don't know, it's like years of being jaded. I don't really know what it is, but sometimes it's just like, where's your customer service? Like, how are you even able to pick up these clients when you can't even be, you know, nice to the other
Yeah,
agent?
it can be nice.
Yeah. So
Like
yeah, I definitely think a little bit of humility and just understanding that you don't know everything, that's gonna help you be successful too. I mean, it can go either way, because some people be like, oh, if you're too nice, they'll take advantage of you. But I feel like you just have to be true to yourself.
mhm.
Um, and I don't think you have to like turn yourself into like some shark, just to be successful. Um, I think people um gravitate to you if you're genuine anyway. So I don't want to work with anybody that doesn't want to work with me. So
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna change myself to work with somebody.
Yeah, that isn't nice. Yeah, that's just understandable. But you don't want to work with people like the Grinch, like, even though that guy has a
No, I'm okay off Grinches.
oh. All right, so at the end of each segment, I always have a game show. So we're having on our first game show. I call it fact or fiction. It's basically I'm gonna do some
Okay.
fact or fiction questions, and then you gotta say if it's fact or if it's fiction about your market. So
Okay.
first fact or fiction. Fontana is one of the most affordable places to buy a home in Southern California. My bad. Fact or fiction?
That is definitely fiction. It is not one of the most affordable. I don't in Southern California?
In Southern California.
Okay, so in the scope of Southern California being LA County and OC and IE,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, the IE is more affordable than the OC or LA County. Now, within the IE, I don't know if Fontana is one of the most affordable, but yes,
Well,
if you're comparing it to that, then fact to that within the IE fiction.
well, it is fact. Fontana is considered one of the most affordable places to buy in South California. However, there are
Mm,
other cities that are even cheaper, like El Centro. I
mm,
never heard of that one, but if you know it,
yeah.
if you know it, then you know it.
Probably so. It's a nowhere's land, so maybe it is affordable.
Maybe it is.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
maybe it's just cheap. Maybe it's
yeah,
just cheap.
yeah. Maybe because I don't even know where El Centro is. So there you go.
All right, so the second one, fact or fiction. The demand for homes in Fontana has increased significantly over the past year due to the epidemic. Fact or fiction.
The demand
The demand for homes has increased significantly. Significantly. Damn, I can't say that word.
significantly. Say it
Significant.
3 times.
Significantly. Significantly.
uh,
Okay, there you go.
um, I'm gonna go with yes, yes. Fact. Is
It is
it? Is it?
is it is actually fiction. Even
What?
it's
Oh
actually
man.
fiction. Is that even though there has been an increase in the number of listings in Fontana between
You
January and
sure?
February, home
Yes.
prices were down 5.7% compared to last year. And Southern
No.
California home prices are expected to either decline or remain flat over the next year. Now, I don't know how true this is, but
Mm-hmm.
according
I
to
can definitely see
yeah,
that. I can definitely see that there has been more listings coming up in Fontana.
hmm
Um, yeah, it's tricky to say a decrease in price, because what it was is the market was overly inflated. So that decrease you're seeing is it leveling it out, right? So now it's like we went from overly inflated prices with the pandemic due to the shortage of homes.
hmm
Now it's just leveling out, so people panic, or you use words like the decrease in sales price, and then people are like, oh no, we're going through a market crash. And it's like, that's not the case. The market is just settling
Yeah,
where
it's
it should be, as opposed to where it was you were paying way too much for a house before.
oh yeah, well, oh okay, 0 out of 2. Okay, let's see.
Oh man,
Hopefully you get this one.
I
Hopefully you
suck
get
at this game. Okay, go ahead. Let's go. Let me redeem myself.
okay, the redemption.
Here, let's see.
Fontana's
All or nothing.
proximity. Okay, Fontana. Oh, you probably gonna get this one. This one is pretty easy. Fontana's proximity to major highways and transportation hubs make it a highly desirable location for home buyers who work in other parts of Southern California. Fact or fiction?
Yeah, I think that's fact. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we literally have every freeway at our disposal. We have the 10, the 60, the 210. It's all within driving distance. And like I said, yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm gonna go with facts.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it is fact. I see. It's gonna be redemption. You got it. You got the redemption
So,
point.
so the other two that I got wrong don't count.
The third one just overrides the second one. Don't
There
worry.
was technicalities there that made me be wrong, but
Yeah.
we're gonna give it to you.
Okay, so hopping right back into it. Who do you typically work with, and why do you enjoy working with that particular group of clients?
So I quickly realized that I'd rather deal with sellers and investors.
Ooh.
Those are the who I'd rather work with, only because I don't like to have to explain to somebody, because I don't consider myself a salesperson. So I don't like to convince someone of the benefits of owning a home. So sometimes it can be very frustrating to deal with buyers in that sense, where it feels like I'm trying to like persuade you. When we're working with an investor, it's kind of, they already understand this aspect, that buying a home is an asset that you can utilize, and it's an investment that keeps on growing, and there's so many things that you can do with it. I like working with people who understand what real estate does,
Mm-hmm.
and not just view it as me just trying to make, oh, you don't care, you're just trying to make a sale. And I feel like that's often the perception.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I can only speak for myself. I don't know about other realtors. But for me, that's something that I consistently get, where people have this bad taste in their mouth about realtors, because maybe they feel like, we're just glorified used car salesmen or something, and it's totally not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'd rather work with people who understand what real estate does and what it can do,
Mm-hmm.
and help them through their process, as opposed to trying to convince you um, of the benefit. If you don't already have that information, it's like I don't even know how to start with helping you, because it's already going to be a hurdle to get you over that hump. And sellers, just because it's for me, since I have kids, being a mom, being a listing agent kind of frees up your time a little more than being a buyer's agent. So that's why I'd rather work with sellers.
Well, yeah. I mean, real estate is really opportunity for generational wealth. It's a no
For
brainer.
sure. For
And
sure.
majority of people, like you could see majority of people who are rich or wealthy own real estate. It's really
Mhm.
important to people to keep informed about that, and especially now with investing in stuff like house hacking. Because you're actually my like out of my three realtors I interviewed, all three of them said investors. And it seems like investors is the really the route to go,
Right.
as I'm hearing, right? Because
Well, it's because, like you said,
oh
a lot of people have these like ideas, and it's like you don't have to be rich to buy a house. Like that's
mhm,
like the first myth that you need to debunk. Like the government wants you to buy houses because, I mean, it keeps everything going, right? And then you need a place to live. You're always going to need a place to live. So they give you these resources, they give you down payment assistance, they give you terms. They're even talking of extending your 30-year fix to a 40-year fix, so that homes are accessible to people. And the thing is, and I don't know, I'm a first generation. Um, when our parents get here, they think buying the house is like the ultimate goal. Like you bought the house, you're set.
I agree.
And
I
and
agree.
I've learned that's literally only step one, right? You buy the
Mhm.
house, now utilize that asset and build generational wealth. Like you said, you bought this house and you want to leave it to your kids, but what if you have 3 4 5 kids but one house, when you can literally buy a house for each one of your kids if you utilize
Mhm.
your the skills and the of a expert to help guide you through that process, where it's like you can own multiple properties, and people, that idea is like so like beyond them, where it's like,
Mhm.
but how, and it's all this like, but why, how, and all these excuses. But it's like the information's out there. We don't bite. As a realtor, we can give you the information. Ultimately, I can never force anyone to make any kind of purchase. So all I can do is give you the information, and you will assess that information and be like, is this right for me? Does this make sense for me? Do these numbers, ask questions, get the information so that you can make an informed decision. And that's where I come in to help you. I can't force you to buy a house. I mean, I wish I could, but I can't. That's something that you have to decide to do. And my job, and a loan officer's job, and every person involved in the transaction, their job is to answer your questions so that you feel comfortable about the process. And and yeah, I think I definitely, it's one of those things where if people understood more of all the benefits of owning real estate, it's like
Mhm.
you'd be wanting to do it, and you definitely don't have to be rich to own it. So it's
Agreed.
just a little bit of discipline, right? A little bit of savings. um but it's not an impossible goal, definitely not. And not your first home is not, I'm sorry to break it to you, but your first home is not always going to be your dream home, but it's your foot through the door to get you to your dream home. So
So little gold gem right there, guys. You know, keep that in mind. Just dropped a good piece of
yeah,
advice.
that's my slogan, from first home to dream home, because
First
it's a
home
step,
dream.
right? From first home to dream home, because that's what it is. It's people want to come in and want to, come into this like newly done remodeled house, and it's like, that's beautiful if you can afford it, but not everybody can afford it. But since you can't afford that, let's talk about getting you into this. You
Mm,
already, and this is just a stepping stone. 3 years, 3 years, depending on what your plan is, will get you to that bigger home. But this is the stepping stone, and you kind of have to be okay with that.
yeah, because actually, like, personally, I know someone who like who became a recently new home buyer, and then they just started remodeling the home, make it look amazing, and then putting all these new furnitures. But I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's like your first home. Wow, like you could use it as an investment property. You could even you may live in junk now, but if you don't think like in the future, if you don't think, okay, how may I use this house to grow to 2 houses, to 3 houses? You know, there's this thing that I learned. It's called like it's like like compounding, basically, just compound houses. Like each year, you start one year with one house, the next year you start with two, the next after that's 4 houses, right? You slowly build up until you
Yeah.
own multiple
And
properties.
people are like, well, I can't afford all those mortgages. And it's like, well, you're not paying those mortgages. Your renters are. And there's
You're
always a
renting.
renter out there. There's always a renter that is looking to rent a home because for
Mhm.
whatever reason they haven't bought a home, or, it's different scenarios for everybody. But you would not, and I know there's a lot, there's risk, but there's risk in everything. There's risk in any investment that you do, but real estate is a pretty sound investment because your house is never going to depreciate unless you just don't take care of it. But you probably saw it yourself, the person that purchased that home, and it probably wasn't the prettiest home that they saw. But if you
Mhm.
go in there and do the work, and the home is always a project, right? Like
It's always,
you can
yeah.
buy it this year, and then 10 years from now it's all outdated and you want to fix it, and it's always an ongoing project. But you have to have that pride and ownership, where it's like, it's not what I want it to be now, but I have the vision that it's going to be this. And just like this, your house value goes up just because you put in that extra time and effort into it, and now it's worth more. So if it's worth more in just that span of time from when you bought it to when you fixed it, can you imagine what it's worth 5 years, 10 years from now? I mean, It's pretty amazing how much wealth you can acquire just off of a property.
Yeah, it's really a time game. Though there's a
Mhm.
little caveat that was mentioned to me recently that I didn't know of actually, which I'm gonna bring it up more later in the bonus question, just to get your opinion on it. But moving on, can you describe like a time you went above and beyond for a client, and what did you learn from the experience?
Um, I mean, I like to feel like I'm pretty above and beyond in the sense where I'm a little bit too accessible, so you probably text me like late at night and I'll probably reply.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, like, I need to get better because I know I have to set boundaries, but most recently I know that in my I was closing on a house in Rialto and then the rains was happening and that roof was original, so we knew that it needed some work, but the rain was a concern of ours because we didn't want any damage inside the house. So um I discussed it with the seller and they're like, yeah, let's tarp it, let's pay that expense to have it tarped so we don't, get any further damages. So at that moment I got on Facebook and I was looking for someone that could come out and tarp it. Did that same day, went up to the property, waited for them to finish tarping. It was drizzling rain, it was cold, it was dark, but there I was with the workers trying to get this done because I knew there was urgency, right?
Mhm.
So when to me that's going above and beyond because I could have been like, oh well, nothing's gonna happen tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. But we
Mhm.
don't know that, right? And then that's on you
Mhm.
because you're the agent and you need to deliver this house in the condition that they offered to buy it. So yeah, there I was in the rain late at night, with the workers waiting for it to get done, and we got it done that day. And luckily we did because that weekend it was pouring rain. So
Would you say that this type of like approach to stuff has helped you build relationships and ensure your clients trust you? Or was there any other strategies that you used to ensure that your client feels comfortable working with you?
Um, no, I think actions just speak louder than words, right? So I can preach all day that, oh, you should trust me because X, Y, and Z, or you can just demonstrate to them that you're trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and always keep those open lines of communication. When they have a question, get them the answer. If there's anything you can do, be available to them. I think sometimes agents get too busy or have so much on their plate that they kind of um put those things to the side or it's not as a priority. But sometimes, you're dealing with somebody's home. So I think always, checking in, giving them updates, answering the phone when they call you, or if you can't answer, shooting them a quick text saying, hey, I'm a little busy right now. I'll call you. Just kind of like always being available so they don't ever feel like you're not um at their service, or that you're working for them and you're accessible.
Yeah, make them feel special. Like
Yeah, definitely.
clients don't have that much attention. Like if you don't respond to them back in 5 to 10 minutes, they'll
Mhm.
probably just doubt that you even care about them. But at
Right.
the same time, you also got to, like you mentioned, you got to set boundaries. Be like, hey, I'm only available from this time to this time. If you shoot me a text like at 9 or 10 p.m. in the night, I won't respond to you.
I might not reply to you, but I'll get
Yeah,
back to you as soon as
okay,
I can the
that's
next morning. Yeah, definitely boundaries, but even just doing that, like, hey, received. This is if this isn't urgent, so I'll definitely get back to you. The
mm,
next morning or whatever the case. But even just doing that kind of get puts them at ease where it's not where they don't feel ignored. Like so. It's a fine line. You
a
have to find
fine
the balance.
line.
Yeah, but I think those boundaries are set in the beginning, right? You
Yeah,
just
just
this
right in
is
the
how
very
I work.
beginning.
This is how I work. If you're a phone person, I can be that for you, but I need you to let me know ahead of time that you want to call so that I'm able to answer your call. Because if you just call me randomly and what if I'm out, I'm busy and I can't answer, you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling ignored. But if you just set those boundaries from the beginning, hey, if you shoot me a text, I'll reply faster. If you prefer to call, we need to schedule calls just so that I can give you my undivided attention
Mm-hmm.
and I can answer your questions. But just setting those boundaries before um is gonna help you a great deal. Because if not, you're gonna have those people sending you listings and houses at like 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m. And okay, so other than clients, how do like I was gonna I was gonna touch base on this earlier. How do you how do you approach building relationships with other professionals in your industry, such as lenders, attorneys, and even home inspectors? How do you approach that?
Um, just being genuine, like I think social media is such a great tool in that. Um, where you can come into contact with people that you probably wouldn't just come into contact with on your regular, life.
Mm,
Um, so then just through social media, you get to see people for, they get to show their personality. And if your values align, just a quick follow. Just anytime somebody follows me, I try to make it a point to engage them, and
mm,
talk to them just so that they know I'm a person. And um and that's gone a long way for me, just being genuine in that sense, where it's like I'm just happy that we're meeting. And if your values align with mine, because I want to work with people that are service oriented. So if I get that vibe from you, I'm definitely going to keep you in my network and build a relationship with you so that we can work well together. um so I think for me, those things matter in that sense, where it's like social media is such a great tool to have, just for that, just for the simple reason, if you get to meet people that are cities away from you that you probably wouldn't meet, but you get to meet them on social media. You get to see what their day-to-day lives are, what they post, what they do. And if you guys click, and it makes it an easier relationship to kind of maintain, as opposed to just being business. I mean, there's a
mm.
million realtors, there's a million loan officers. Which ones are you going to vibe with that is going to make the transaction that much easier or better?
True, true. Because like what you mentioned right now is really what the key of success is for the real estate market in 2023 and above for realtors. Because right now is everything is through short form video, right? If you guys go through YouTube Shorts, IG Reels, TikTok, you mentioned I don't know about Facebook Reels that much, but
Mm-hmm.
all I know is the IG Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts are really really powerful. Like if you know how to like if you're funny, people are gonna see that. People are gonna laugh with you. People are gonna uh, be interested in you, right? But if you just stick to posting pictures on your social media profile, just hey listing, because there's many realtors who still do pictures of their whole like their whole presence and just a picture of a house, but like
Mm-hmm.
oh how's a
You don't
client
know them. You don't feel
you
like you
don't
know
know
them.
them like you okay
Yeah,
the client's interested in the house, but if they don't know the realtor, then how they're gonna click, right?
why would they want to work with you, right? Yeah, you're gonna want to make them know the person. That's what I mean. And then it's a lot of times where it's like you get the old school train of thought,
Mm-hmm.
where a realtor looks a certain kind of way, right? So you're supposed to wear, the fancy clothes
Fancy
and
clothes and
yeah, and drive the certain kind of car, or I don't know what the cliches are, but I mentioned before, I wouldn't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work with me. And I just feel like just being yourself. I'd rather just be myself and wear what I
Mhm.
want to wear and let my work and my skills speak for themselves. I mean, I have tattoos. Not everybody is gonna wanna, not everybody approves of tattoos.
Everyone.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, oh, this person doesn't want to work with me. There's plenty of other people that don't mind the tattoos,
Yeah.
and it really shouldn't be like a deciding factor. So it's be yourself. I mean, carry yourself with professionalism always, but
Hmm.
definitely don't try to fit this mold of what you think a realtor is, because
Yeah.
you just gotta be you. They're gonna have to work with you, not the image
Yeah.
that you put forth
Yeah.
of yourself.
Just
Mhm.
legit, just be you. This it's really important. Really, it really will take you a long way.
It
So
sounds
just
cliche, but it's true.
it's true. All right. So this we get to the second segment. Just to know a little bit about you, the game show. I call it
Mhm.
two truths and a lie. So you'll have to tell me two truths and a lie about yourself or a client you worked with. It could be interesting facts about you, and then I have to see and guess which one is a lie. Sound fair enough?
All right, let me see.
Okay.
Um, I was born in Managua, Nicaragua.
Okay.
I have 6 siblings, and I graduated from Cal State San Bernardino.
Okay. So you said you were first gen for your parents, so that means you were born here. So
Mm-hmm.
the first one has to be a lie. I believe the other
Is
two.
that your answer? Is that what we're going
Hold on.
with?
Okay, now you're making me doubt. But no, mm, okay, so 6 siblings.
Mhm.
Nah, that's possible. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, you do have 6 siblings. I can see it through your face. You have 6 siblings.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, what was the third one again? You see, you
And
graduated
I
from.
graduated from Cal State San Bernardino.
Okay. Okay. The first one is a lie. I'm going with the first one.
Ah!
Listen.
You know what? I was born in Managua, Nicaragua, but I came to the United States before my first birthday. So I grew up here, but I was technically
Um.
and the lie was I do not have 6 siblings. I have 2 sisters. That's it.
Oh
It's because I'm
no.
Latino, huh? That you said I had the 6 siblings.
Well, because I like my mom. She has like 8 siblings. She has like
Yeah,
majority because my family is
my
Hispanic.
mom does too. That's why
My
I said that. That's why I said that. See, I tried to throw you off, and I
Dang,
did. I threw you off.
you threw me off real good. All right. So moving on. From the embarrassing. So, can you share a meaningful, impactful moment in your career as a realtor that stands out to you?
I think for me, it was my first client, just because
Mm.
it it was it was it was crazy in the sense where it was a lot of like fake it till you make it. Um, you don't know what's happening. It's a lot of stuff, and you just gotta maintain your composure and act like you know what's going on. Um, and so my first client is meaningful to me because I just remember being so excited when I actually got somebody that wanted to work with me and give me a shot. So I think definitely I'm never gonna forget my first client, my first closing, because it's just we got it all the way to the end. It's like wow, I did it. Not knowing a thing about real estate, but we made it all the way to the end.
We recommend faking until you make it so the realtors as well, or no? Just
See, that's controversial. That's controversial because a lot of people will tell you, don't ever say that you don't have any experience. And I would never lead with that. I would never just willingly divulge that information. But if somebody asks you, like, you got to tell them the truth. And the only thing that I would say is be like, I'm personally new, but my broker has however many years of experience, and I work closely with them, and they'll guide me through this transaction. So, something along those lines. Like I
Mhm.
said, you never want to lead with that. You want to go around be like, hey, everybody, I'm new. Like, I've never done this before. Um, Definitely, I mean, fake it till you make it. Just kind of be like, like I can get the job done. I
Mhm.
can help you. But if they ask, I wouldn't feel right lying to them, right? So you just kind of have to think of another creative way to see how you can still be of value to them. So you should always have that like on the side, like your
Mhm.
little elevator pitch, because that might be a question that gets brought up when you're new and you don't want to be caught like, oh well, I think you just kind of have to know how to answer that question because it might come up. So, but I wouldn't lead with lying because we're trying to build trust here. So
Yeah, so
so that's not a good way to build trust, to start off the relationship with a lie. So
it's a double-edged sword strategy, but it
yeah,
works. It
definitely,
it has its
definitely.
benefits. Has its benefits. So
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't come up. Sometimes it doesn't come up. They won't even ask. But sometimes they do. So
sometimes
you
they
kind
do.
of, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? You gotta tell them the truth, but tell them that shouldn't discourage you from working with me.
As you mentioned, your skill that matters. It's the skill that matters, not
Yeah, yeah.
that stuff.
And that relationship that you built with them, they already want to work with you because of whatever else reason. So, um, if because of that they don't want to work with you, I mean, it's a tough loss, but it shouldn't be a big issue. I'm sure they'll appreciate somebody has to start somewhere. Um, and definitely just kind of piggybacking off of your broker's experience should definitely get you through that question. I mean, because your broker's not gonna let you just mess up a deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be there to guide you, and that's another thing. If you don't have an accessible broker, it's not going to work. Make sure you have an accessible broker that can help guide you, because questions are going to come up whether you've been doing it 1 month or 5 years. Not one transaction is the same. So you definitely want to have a broker on your side that is going to be available to you to answer those questions or give you the resources to to
Yeah.
to do to do the job.
Yeah. Yeah. So from you mentioned your mother, and how do you, for other mothers out there, how do you, like other mothers that are realtors, how do you manage the real estate side with the personal side of, how do you balance that out?
Uh with the grace of God, with the grace of God, but that's how you handle it. But no, but you know what? Honestly, it requires a partner that is willing to help, that will take on that load, that sees what you're trying to do. It requires a lot of time management. So either waking up before them, staying up after them, finding your moments when they sleep to work. Um, and like I said, having a village, it takes a village, right? So if your sister, if your mom, if somebody can take them for a little while to do some work, then so be it. And if not, that's why you have to get creative, because not everybody has. For me, I can't just be on the phone for cold
Mm-hmm.
calling for however many hours. I have to do things behind the screen where I can do things at my own time. So definitely with a lot of help, and you kind of have to have a plan in place. So if you have little ones, it's going to be slightly harder, not impossible, just harder. So um just keep that in mind, that this is not like a 9 to 5 job where you punch in and you punch out. So you might start your day at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and might end it later, but you have to take advantage of those opportunities to work, um to get anything done. But definitely don't put excuses.
Yeah, definitely. And now now that you mentioned this,
There's a will, there's a way. Mm-hmm.
uh, now that you mentioned this, what was like other, because I also I recently checked out your post about your list, about your open house that you made, and you're not putting the address. So was
Mm-hmm.
there any particularly challenging
Yeah.
were there any other particularly challenging moments that that you had to overcome or you gain experience from?
Mm, I mean, as a relatively new agent, I feel like most everything is a challenge because you're just second guessing yourself often. Like, am I doing it right? Am I doing the right things? Am I doing enough? Um, but I will say that consistency is very key. You might not get the same amount of work done every single day, but just if you're working towards that every day, just working consistently, you'll see rewards. And I mean, yeah, there's challenges all the time, but you kind of have to learn to make fun of yourself. You're human, you're not perfect. Um, and that's what I did. I was probably working too fast and forgot to put the address on there, but I caught it, corrected it, and made a joke of it, because I'm human and I'm gonna make a mistake. But we keep it moving, we keep it forward. It's part of growth to even acknowledge you made your own mistake. So there you go.
uh, now, uh, finally we got into the bonus question, which I was really wanting to ask you.
Okay.
But two now, because first is the Kamala Harris one. I want to know what's your opinion on what she said
Mm-hmm.
about FHA loans, and then the second one was about the 1031 exchange being removed. I believe it's been recently brought up to me that Joe Biden is creating a bill that takes away the 1031 exchange, and I know it's gonna be really
Oh yeah.
important for investors. I just want to get your opinion on
Hmm.
both of these topics, and yeah, what's your thought on it as a realtor?
Um, as far as as far as the mortgage insurance, I mean, I see it as a good thing. I mean, as is the lowest down payment you can do. I mean, if you can find a zero, there's still pros and cons to that, but the lowest down payment is an FHA. And I know a lot of the big issue too is that mortgage insurance that you're unable to get rid of if you have an FHA loan. So them dropping it to where they did, it's going to give you some savings, and so that's just even more money that you can put towards yourself or use for whatever else. So I mean, I see it as a good thing. I don't necessarily see how it can be a bad thing to bring down the mortgage insurance. It's better than it going up. So if you find something wrong with that, as like, yeah, people are like, oh, it's only this much a month, but I think that's on average, right? Because it really just depends on the purchase price of the house and all these other factors. So some people want to be like, oh, well, it's only this much. It's like, well, that's just an average. And I mean, you can continue paying the higher amount if you would like. I mean, I take the less. So I think that's a good thing. As far as the 1031 exchange, if that does go through, investors will just find another way, another loophole to get to the objective. So I think what they're trying to do is mitigate that investors are buying up all the properties and all this thing around it. Maybe that's their way to try to like mitigate that. But um, like I said, there's where there's a will, there's a way. So I don't see this stopping anything. Investors are just going to figure out another way to acquire the properties. So I mean, they can try. Just because he bring it doesn't mean it's gonna pass. So you kind of have to wait and see.
True, true. Now, finally, thank you for being here. It's really a pleasure. It really gave us your knowledge and inform us as a
No,
new
thank you for having me.
and experienced one as well. And lastly, before we leave, where can the people find you? What socials do you use and everything? Where can they find you?
So I'm primarily, yeah, I tried TikTok for a while. It wasn't for me. But I'm primarily on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I eventually want to do a YouTube channel. It's just something that is in the works, and I'm just trying to iron out the details of what that channel would look like and what kind of content I'm gonna be putting on it.
Mhm.
It's been an ongoing thing, but like I said, it's just a lot of ideas, but not enough hours in the day to get it done. So I try to I'm right now I'm just trying to solidify myself as a realtor, get the consistency, and eventually I want to do that YouTube channel, and maybe it'll just be like conversational, just how we're doing with
Mhm.
different professionals. I kind of did something similar to that on my IG that I
Mhm.
do, that I'll go live and I'll do interviews with different professionals.
Mhm.
Maybe something like that. It's just kind of drawing out the plan of what I want it to look like and just executing it. But that's definitely something that's in the works for the
Oh,
future to build up my YouTube channel as well.
yeah, I agree. Like me and my team, we do YouTube channel, and we tell realtors to open up a YouTube channel. The reason is because people look if you're focusing on a niche, let's say you're in the real estate
Mm-hmm.
niche, you're focusing on Fontana, and you create a whole YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel based on you being on Fontana. People are gonna know, okay, I'm gonna go to this person because she's I look her
The
videos and
expert in Fontana.
she actually wants Fontana, right? And
Right.
the beauty with YouTube is that you could get monetized, meaning you could create like a second source of income, which is it's mind blowing. Not many
Yeah.
realtors know that, and I'm like like my job is to encourage realtors to actually open up a YouTube channel, which I'm gonna get
Mhm.
a whole nother day
You know,
to
that's a whole nother topic for another day, but
whole
yeah,
nother topic
I
for another day.
definitely I can see that I can definitely see the benefits of it. I mean, everybody's on YouTube, you know, if you want to learn how to do something, you're on YouTube. Um, so I could, and I know when I was taking my exam and learn and trying to get into this field, I was watching YouTube videos from um other real estate agents like Loida Velasquez and
Oh yeah,
um
I know Lloyd. I know Lloyd.
I know I was doing it. So it's something that is like, yeah, once you kind of got some of the experience, then you have something you can share with either other agents or just, customers.
Mm,
Like I said, it's just another avenue for them to see your personality, see what you have to bring, see if they want to work with you, and just expands your reach. So I mean, definitely something that I know I want to do. Just haven't done it quite yet, but definitely something for the future for sure.
yeah, definitely have a yeah, definitely have a scheduling day.
Yeah, I need to get better
To
with my
schedule.
time management. I'm working on
Yeah,
it.
it's really important to have time management. Just
For sure.
not to take much of your time anymore. Thank you for being here. Thank you for
No,
giving me the
thank you.
opportunity. And if other realtors, you guys are interested, could hop on to this channel, do a little interview just like this. And any last weird facts or comments, concerns, or advice you got?
Mm, weird facts. Um, no, you know what? I don't, a lot of people give me grief for this, but I'm not a pet person. So like, you know how people like, oh, I love dogs, and dogs are like best friend, man's best friend. I'm not a pet person. Like I'm not gonna like do anything mean to the animals, but like me personally, I do not want to be responsible for a pet. And a lot of people like are just like like astonished by that fact, and I'm just like, no, I'm cool. Like I think I can live my life and
Without a
not feel
pet.
like I missed out on anything by not having a pet. Like I'm okay with that.
How not even a pet fish? Not even a pet fish?
I think I had a pet fish when I was little, but no, then I'm grossed out by cleaning the dirty water. So no, I'm good.
Wow.
So
Uh,
even the fish doesn't work for me because I'm like, ew, the dirty water.
the dirty water. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, like and subscribe and comment down for more for what type of content you want to see in the future. Other than that, have a great day, guys.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome.